Hello everyone, dear fans of Barcelona. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on FC Barcelona. Today, Barcelona has decided to take a firm and direct stance against Chelsea's growing interest in securing the services of Antti Flick, one of the most talented and committed players on the Blaugrana squad. From London, the movements of the English club have been constant in recent weeks. Reports sent, survey calls, economic offers, all with the intention of wooing the Brazilian and bringing him to Stamford Bridge. But Laporta, true to its style and aware of the importance of each piece of the sports project, has been categorical in its response. Antti Flick will not leave Camp Nou except for a sum of €50 million plus the inclusion of young João Pedro. The president's response is not just a symbolic gesture. It represents a declaration of principles, a demonstration of institutional strength, and a clear way to establish that FC Barcelona is not for sale and is certainly not willing to be dictated by the millions of the Premier League. Antti Flick, in particular, has been an example of professionalism since his arrival, always with a positive, combative, intense attitude, tactically applied, and with a creative spark that disrupts in important moments. It's not just his speed or his ability to overflow that makes him special. It's his character, his commitment, his way of living each game as if it were the last. It's this type of player who connects with the stands, who gives himself in defense, who comes back to cover spaces, who applauds his teammates, and who fights for every ball as if wearing the crest were a matter of honor. João Pedro, on the other hand, represents an interesting opportunity, young, explosive, versatile, with room for growth. His inclusion in the operation would not only maintain the offensive balance but also align with the idea of rejuvenating certain areas of the field without losing competitiveness. The firm response from Laporta is not an isolated whim but a perfectly structured formula to not come out losing from this negotiation. Joan Laporta, the president, has repositioned the club as a strong player in the market, bringing pride back to the offices and laying the foundations for management that, despite the inherited difficulties, is beginning to bear fruit. Today, Barcelona no longer depends on what is offered from the outside. It has the authority and structure to look anyone in the eye, even Chelsea, even the all-powerful Premier League. For Antti Flick, the signals are clear. The player is happy, committed, respected. Although the interest of English clubs in high-potential Brazilian players is always present, the winger has shown that his presence and his heart are at Camp Nou. And that is priceless. Chelsea's offer may be in the millions, but it does not account for the emotional and footballing value that Antti Flick has for this team. And in a club with a soul, that is not negotiable. Regarding João Pedro, he represents an interesting opportunity, young, explosive, versatile, with room for growth. His inclusion in the operation would not only maintain the offensive balance but also align with the idea of rejuvenating certain areas of the field without losing competitiveness. The firm response from Laporta is not an isolated whim but a perfectly structured formula to not come out losing from this negotiation. Beyond the strictly sporting plan and the market, what this negotiation has awakened is a clear reflection of Barcelona's new international positioning against the great clubs of the Premier League. The case of Antti Flick is not an isolated fact but the most recent proof of a trend that is consolidating. The Catalan club has regained its decision-making power in major negotiations and no longer accepts being treated as a breeding ground for stars for English projects funded by unlimited funds. The firmness demonstrated by the management sends a message that resonates across Europe. If you want to negotiate with Barcelona, it must be done on equal terms and under its conditions. What was once seen as a weakness has now transformed into a new identity, that of a club which, despite recent setbacks, has known how to rebuild itself and regain its influence. It is not just about refusing offers or imposing conditions. It is about regaining the symbolic weight of the crest, becoming an influential actor on the global football stage again, capable of setting the agenda and conditioning the decisions of other giants. Each move, like the one happening with Antti Flick and Chelsea, reinforces this regained status and projects an image of institutional solidity that contrasts with the recent past. Even on the diplomatic front, the club's position has gained points. The manner and elegance with which the counteroffer was handled and the clarity of the message have been praised by voices close to the Blaugrana environment. There are no disrespectful leaks, no affronts in the press, no signs of weakness, just a serious, concrete, and coherent proposal. This type of response raises the tone of the negotiation and clearly shows that Barcelona is no longer carried away by urgencies or external noise. In parallel, this type of situation also plays a role in the club's internal politics. The Cule supporters, who in recent years have lived through emotional highs and lows and disillusions linked to the traumatic departures of emblematic figures, are beginning to see in this new attitude a way to regain lost pride. It is no coincidence that, with each new episode in the market, the idea that decisions are made with discernment, without haste, and with a medium and long-term vision is reinforced. This type of directive leadership is what has been long awaited and which, today, with Laporta at the helm, is beginning to consolidate as the norm. On the other hand, this operation must also be understood in a strategic perspective for the future. By conditioning the possible departure of Antti Flick to the arrival of a young talent on the rise like João Pedro, the club is working on a gradual renewal of the squad in which neither competitiveness nor identity is lost. This logic of planned replacement, far from the model of impulsive recruitments or desperate sales, aligns with the objective of building a solid, durable, and ambitious bloc that combines youth, talent, and commitment to the project. Furthermore, one cannot ignore the symbolic value of keeping committed and popular players like Antti Flick in the squad, at a time when loyalty is rare, where offers arrive daily from Saudi Arabia, England, or the United States. That a footballer of his caliber remains at Camp Nou and continues to give his all in every match directly connects with the sense of belonging that supporters value so much. This emotional connection is often as important as a goal or a decisive pass. But if Chelsea is not willing to accept the conditions set by Barcelona, then so be it. No one at Camp Nou will shed any tears. The Catalan club has already proven that it knows how to do without tempting offers to keep its key players. Antti Flick will continue to be that important, decisive, and valuable player, the one who, match after match, demonstrates his attachment to the Blaugrana colors. Barcelona will continue on its path, growing, competitive, and regaining its place among the continent's elite. Because this club does not live off sales, it lives off conviction and passion. And if there is one thing that has become clear in recent transfer windows, it is that we no longer sell out of obligation, but out of strategic vision. And as a Cule, I can only celebrate this change in mentality. This way of positioning ourselves in the market with respect, but without fear, shows a new era for Barcelona. It is not about blocking operations, but about defending what belongs to us with intelligence, with ambition, with pride. Every player who wears this jersey does so under the protection of a crest that has regained its weight, its prestige, its history. And it should be so in the future. So, the question is for all Blaugrana supporters, what do you think of Laporta's response to Chelsea? Is it a position that is too firm or just what was needed? Do you think it is right to demand João Pedro and 50 million for Antti Flick? Is this the kind of management you expected from the club, or would you prefer a different, perhaps more flexible approach? The debate is open, and that's what makes our community so special. We all have our opinions, our visions, our passion for this club. But one thing is clear, the dignity of Barcelona is no longer at stake. Today, it is defended with firmness, with strategy, and with a project that is once again moving forward with a firm step towards the elite. Barcelona is no longer the club that lets its conduct be dictated by the exorbitant offers from outside. No, today, Barcelona dictates its own terms, imposes its conditions, and shows the whole world that its players are not for sale at any price. If Chelsea really wants Antti Flick, let them pay what he is worth, because here at Camp Nou, players are not given away. They are valued, respected, and defended with everything we have. So it must be, and so it shall be. Barcelona is back, stronger, prouder, and ready to face the future with its head held high. And we, the supporters, are here to support every step of this journey towards greatness.